and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I am cooking Mexican chicken fajitas, and I thought this would be a great one for the school holidays and to get the kids cooking, because we used to do this in our Get Kids cooking classes when we had Matters of Taste cooking school. This is always very popular. There's a little bit of cooking involved, but there's a lot of chopping and understanding sort of how to create some beautiful flavors in this food as well. So it's a great recipe to have in your repertoire anyway. It doesn't necessarily need to be just for school holidays. You can have it any time you want, really. So it's just a very, I think kids quite like the Mexican flavors, and I'm going to be doing a little salsa to go with this as well. And with the chicken that I'm just about to cook, I've just cut it up into strips. And I'm going to add some Mexican spice mix to this. Now, we use the Herbie's Mexican spice blend that you can use for fajitas and any Mexican style food, especially Tex-Mex. But I use this with my chili con carne as well, so it's a really nice one. It's got paprika, it's got cumin in there, it's got some oregano. What else has it got? Smoked paprika as well, a little bit of coriander seed, amchur, which is mango. So it's a little bit of sweetness, chili, cinnamon, coriander leaf, oregano. So it's really, really delicious. So I'm just going to toss my meat in this. Definitely add some salt to it. Probably don't need black pepper actually, so I won't do that. Don't always need pepper where you have salt. And I'll just give that, might give it a little bit more. I always do everything with my hands and then have to wash my hands 100 times, but they're quite useful utensils, I find. I never lose them. I always find them. They're always on the end of my arms. No one ever puts them away in the wrong drawer or anything like that. So yeah, handy, as they say. So this, you can either make up your own little spice mix with my recipe that is online, or you can have your own Mexican spice blend, whichever one you like from the shops. So I didn't tell the cameraman, but here I am over at the stove, and we're going to cook the chicken. So I've just kept my pan hot. I'll tell you what I've done previously, but you can have a little look if you can see that through the camera. And I just want to make sure that this pan is nice and hot. Might do this in 2 batches so that we're not, so that we get some nice colour on the chicken. We're not overcrowding the pan. So chicken breast, really quick to cook. It's got this lovely seasoning on it now, and just testing that pan to see how hot it is, and you can even put in a couple of pieces of chicken to sort of find that out. But we'll pop half of this in, and while that's cooking, we'll look at making up the salsa with this. And I think the lovely thing about this is that there's so many different veggies that you can put in here, and there's so much texture as well, so much really enjoyable texture in here. So you can hear it sizzling away, so that's really good. Previously I have actually just cooked some green capsicum and some onion first. I want to get as many veggies in here as possible because it makes it taste really fantastic. So I love the green capsicum and onion with this. If you really don't want to put it in, then don't, but I think it is really quite delicious. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to play around with it too much, but that pan should have been hot enough so that it'll release that chicken once that is cooked. We're going to go back over to the bench over here while I just get myself a chopping board as well. Sorry, Mr. Cameraman. He's having to work hard for his money tonight. And we'll make a little salsa to go with the chicken. So I have got a sweet corn here. So it's a very popular vegetable, and I use this raw. I don't cook it. So I just chop off the top and the bottom. I should have had a bin out here. And literally you can pull the husk off like this, grabbing hold of the silk. So this is the silk inside, and the husk and the silk keep the sweet corn protected. But if you pull this silk from the top as you pull the husk off, then you're doing it all in, removing everything in one fell swoop. So you've just got few little bit of bits here like that, but you don't really need to worry about them. You don't have to take absolutely every single one of them off, because it's still a vegetable. So you can still actually eat that. I'm just going to pop those there out. Now, to remove the kernels from the corn, I'm keeping my eye on the chicken as well. Lay it down flat and just slice the corn kernels off. You'll feel when you get to the centre of the cob, because you can't actually cut through it. So what you want to do is just make sure that you cut these beautiful fresh corn kernels off, leaving that woody cob behind, because that's going to go into the bin. So as I said, I love this idea of having this raw salsa with the in the fajitas, because it just makes for a really interesting texture, as well as lots of beautiful nutrients in here as well. Now I've got a Lebanese cucumber, and I'm just going to, just going to take out the seeds. And I'm only taking out the seeds because if I left them in, then the salsa will become really quite watery. So I want to dice these, make them about the same size. And look, you can use whatever vegetables really you like in here. Sort of try and keep them a little bit Mexican-ish, I would say. But this is how you quickly dice a cucumber. So you cut it lengthways first, and then you cut it into fine dice. And of course you need a good chef's knife for this, and a little bit of practice. So you can cut all of the vegetables down to a smaller size and make it a little bit easier for the kids. You can get them to use one of these serrated edge knives. They're very good. Little Victorinox serrated edge knives, good for smaller hands, and these would do the trick beautifully. And go back to the chicken, because it's definitely ready to go. Do you see? Oh, I don't know whether he got that, Mr. Cameraman, I don't know. But it just releases itself off the frying pan, because I made sure that frying pan was hot before I put the oil in. And the chicken was dry. I had patted it dry. So we've got some beautiful colour on that chicken already, and we'll just have to, it won't take very long to cook the second side, and I might just pop it on top of that mix actually. You can hear as soon as you turn the chicken, the cold side hits the pan. It stops frying, and it starts bubbling a little bit and stewing. But I reckon if I took that out of the pan right now, that sitting on top of those warm onions and capsicum will just finish off cooking. So you don't want to overcook chicken breast, because it's nasty and dry. So let's just quickly do this. How are we going? We're all right. And adding the second batch, not quite so much, which is a good thing because the pan has cooled down a little bit. Just taking it off the stove, and we'll leave that then. I always wash up as I go along as well. I don't know which one. I always wash up as I go along as well. So it's a very good idea to do this, because then at the end of your cooking, everything's clean, and you can sit down and have a delicious meal. So that's what I do as I go along. Anyway, now back to the salsa. We've got to have some sweet corn with some soap suds. Don't add soap suds to your meal. That would be silly, wouldn't it? So just cutting the avocado in half, and I find the easiest way to remove the flesh is just to run a spoon around the end like that, and you've got an empty shell. It's a bit dangerous, that bit, so perhaps get an adult to do it. And then this other one as well, to take all of that out, and that's a nice neat bit of avocado. So just going to cut it in half, and then cut it into lengthways, and then cut it into dice. So the same sort of idea as what I did with the end of the avocado, don't want that. Same sort of idea as I did with the cucumber. because the cucumber and the avocado and the corn cobs are all about the same size. So that makes the salsa work really, really well together. And so that's that. And I'm going to pop a little bit of coriander in there as well. Not before I turn my meat though. So I sort of kept my ear out for that as well, for the frying part of things, so I can hear it sizzling. And we'll just turn all of these bits over. Give the pan a little shake. That's always a good idea to do once that chicken's been turned over. And then you know that every little bit of chicken is on the base of the frying pan and is cooking. So here's some coriander. Some people love it and some people hate it. You don't have to put it in if you don't want to, but seeing as it's a Mexican idea, I thought I'm going to put it in because I love it. I love it. So I'm just cleaning off that root, that stringy bit off the root, because we can certainly use all of that. I'm going to chop it up so that it's quite sort of small in the salsa. And that will then just put that lovely coriander flavour right the way through. So this first bit, I'm just chopping it up like this. And once you've done this, this is called a chiffonade in French. And then you can cross chop it like this, and your coriander is all ready to go into the salsa. So you can see how I'm using my big chef's knife. It's a very useful piece of equipment. Because it does so many different things. I just lifted all that lovely herbs onto there, and that's almost ready. I'm just going to pop all of that back in now so that it can heat through together. Make sure that's fully cooked, and I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit because I know it's cooked. I don't want it to overcook at this stage. Now, we're going to season this, because if you don't, it's going to taste very flat. So some salt, pepper if you want, don't have to, but pepper if you want. And I'm going to pop a little bit of lime juice on here with a little bit of, so lime juice has got a sour flavour and it works really well with the sweetness of the vegetables, and it will be balanced out by the salt. So salt will always balance out sweet, and it'll always balance out sour. So it's a very important. There we go. Just need a little bit like that. Very important to learn how to season in the kitchen. And the other thing that I want to put on here is a little bit of olive oil as well. And we are very close to serving up. So I have got here as well. Now this is Greek yogurt, and I tend to use Greek yogurt over sour cream because I have it in the fridge at all times, whereas I don't have sour cream in the fridge at all times. And you want something that's creamy, and you want something that has a little bit of sharpness. But I will add some salt to it. As I just said, the salt will take away that sharpness. So what you can do is you can take a little bit of yogurt before you put the salt in, and taste it, then add some salt, stir it around and taste it again, and you'll be amazed at the difference. If you want to, you can add a little bit of olive oil as well. That's nice in with the yogurt too. But at the moment, I'm just going to start to pull everything together because that meat is done, and see how I'm wiping down as well as I go along. Very, very important. So I'm going to give this a bit of a stir. Did I put the olive oil on? Did I put the olive oil on, Mr. Cameraman? No. Lucky he's watching. What did I do with it then? There we are. Really important. When you say you're going to add something, add it. Now, I think I may have had maybe some tomatoes in here as well, which absolutely you can, or you don't have to if you don't want to, or you could add some roasted tomatoes if you have some in the fridge. And I'm just going to taste this. A little bit more salt, a bit sour, a a bit more salt, and that'll be just lovely. So if you don't have lime, you can use lemon instead if you want to. Let's pop this in my sort of Mexican looking bowls as well. So you can pop all of this on a huge platter if you want to, and everyone can just come and help themselves with it really. And we've got some cheese. You can use a mozzarella cheese. I'm actually using our very favourite cheese from La Delizia called Scamorza, and it's a beautiful mozzarella cheese that we absolutely love in this house, and we can eat it morning, noon and night. I'm just going to throw this in the bin quickly, and I've actually made some of my own tortillas as well, because I like making them. So chicken. I like making them, and they taste a lot nicer than the ones in the shops. That's what I think anyway. So I've just done a couple just to show you. And the plate's warm because the tortillas were warm. So this is just eat this like this. So the tortillas are warm. You always keep them under a tea towel to keep them nice and warm while you're cooking the rest of them. So I'm just going to get rid of this plate, and what I might do is actually get rid of this over here. I need an assistant really, don't I? And let's make up one of these beautiful, well, we could make up two, couldn't we really? Don't have to just make up one. Now I've got some beautiful little baby lettuce here, some baby gem lettuce that you can buy, or you can get yourself some cos lettuce, or you can shred something like an iceberg lettuce, really nice crunch. And onto there, let me get my tongs, I think that's easiest. Onto there, oh look, this is delicious now. See all those lovely bits on the bottom of that pan have really made this absolutely delicious. Sorry? Oh right, I can't yet. Left-handed, a left-handed tilt. All right, so I'm going to pop this on here. And this is beautiful, served with rice if you want to. You don't have to have the bread. You can serve it with rice if you want to. Oh, that looks really good already, doesn't it? And on goes some of our lovely salsa as well. Try and get it on there rather than... Just got to be a bit careful. I'm really bad at overfilling. Overfilling these, and then it all dribbles down my arm and everything. I get in a terrible mess, don't I, Mr. Cameraman? Don't know whether you can hear him. He's in the room. But gosh, they are delicious. And then on goes the cheese, and that'll sort of melt into it as well. Be really super delicious. So to wrap them up, hopeless at this. To wrap them up, roll them around like this. I put them like down like that. I'm going to do the other one so you can see that I can do two, and we'll leave the other one open like that so it looks really beautiful at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this. Recipes on the website right now. You can order all of the ingredients through the Providore as well. We have got the lovely Mexican spice mix on there as well, so you can get one of those and be cooking Mexican to your heart's content. But I think that is a pretty glorious meal for everyone to help themselves to what they like, but you do have to have some green things on your plate. You can't just have the chicken, and you can't just have the chicken and the bread. You do have to have that lovely mixture of green in there as well, so everyone goes really strong. So there you go, our beautiful chicken fajitas. Hope you cook them, hope you enjoy them, and have a fun rest of the school holidays. See you soon.